You blink an eye and it's done. Uranus's roof, and roofers are these roofers. A neighbor saw something, I think, and they're working with the police. There were some people in disguise. I think we're going to be hearing something by Tuesday. This is not good for the perps. They're just in complete shock. Keep your eyes out. Welcome, everyone. It's Astrologer Val Evans. Thanks for joining me again today. We're talking about Nancy Guthrie and her abduction. We're going to be looking at some updates that are just coming in now. Right now, we are hearing that Google is going to continue to look for video that was recorded in the Guthrie house. They're at Annie's again, dying to see your show tonight. That is really strange because I'm talking about Annie tonight. I do see some clues and I see them around Annie and they're in Nancy's chart. I've got a birthday clue. What is birthday? Birthday is Leo. Whenever I see something that looks really nice in somebody's solar return chart during readings, I'll say, where are you going? This looks like a nice holiday, or it's a birthday. If there is a lot of poor aspects to it, just be careful on that destination holiday that you're going on. It might be a little bit dramatic. It might not be what you're expecting. I'm seeing so much Leo here. And what I noticed is that not that many people, have you heard many people talk about the fact that Nancy celebrated her birthday days before she went missing? Usually, like, you hear stuff like that, like with the Tepe murders, I guess they were talking a lot about how they were getting ready to celebrate their wedding anniversary. You usually hear about that kind of stuff. I haven't heard that much about Nancy and her birthday. Erica, your power is out from storm on the central coast of California. So I'm watching this with candlelight. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. There's a lot of electrical problems right now. And we just saw how there's this huge avalanche in Lake Tahoe. We took a look at Mexico, a lot of different clues. So for members, check that out. And thank you so much to the members who make these shows possible. Regarding the birthday clue, now, if you're new to my channel, you know I look at all of the things that nobody bothers to look at. I am not really observant myself with normal everyday things. But when it comes to signs and symbols, I really notice these things. And one thing that I've noticed is the fact that there was a lot of bullying with Tommaso, lots of tomatoes, and that's very Leo, poorly aspected. Past couple of days, a lot of people were saying happy birthday to JLR, and it's not his birthday. And this lady is probably saying it genuinely because she's seeing everybody else wish him happy birthday, but there's some troublemakers in there and just constantly saying happy birthday to him. So it made me think that with that clue, possible clue, and the fact that Nancy just celebrated her birthday, could there have been something that happened on or around her birthday? And here's Regina George and company, the characters in Mean Girls. And you notice a lot of hair. So in forensic astrology, you see hair usually when it comes to evidence or DNA or even a profile of someone. Well, we see some Leo in these charts. Now, this is Nancy Guthrie's predictive solar return chart. You've seen this before. I rectified it and didn't really notice at first what the rising sign is going into here. And Leo is representing her this year. So everybody's going to see her and think about Leo. Not only that, but we're going to get the Lord of this sign and we're going to see where it is. We're going to find the sun because the sun is the rising sign Lord and the sun is here. So everybody is going to see there was a huge upset when it came to her. And you can also see that there's a T-square here. She's in a huge, huge mess here. That's her identity this year, all based on Leo. What would that make me want to do? Go to the hairdresser, her hairdresser, see what maybe the hairdresser was talking to her about in the last, maybe, I don't know if she goes to a hairdresser, but anything hair related. Also with Leo can represent family. So obviously they track down leads with the family, but also the planets around the sun, which is going to give us some additional clues. But funny how Leo in a chart represents a birthday. And so um, maybe people would be talking about what she did on her birthday. And there is a little summary here. She celebrated her 84th birthday on January 27th, 2026, just days before her disappearance. Friends described her celebrating by eating beignets, reading, and playing cards. Two of those three things, unless she was reading something Leo related, are Leo: beignets from the French Quarter and playing cards, which is games. This joyous, quiet celebration occurred shortly before she was reported missing on February 1st in Tucson. And she was noted to be speeding, Aquarius, through a stack of books and enjoyed beignets, according to a friend. So there's that. Wanted to know what you think. We've got that birthday there. Let's see if we can get a clue with regard to the birthday. Was someone not invited? I don't know. You can't. Probably not. Probably not. My guess is that maybe there is a clue that has to do with a birthday. Llama Llama, you had a dream about Nancy in a swimming pool. Interesting. Just reporting JLR not on scene yet, if true. You're feeling a pool party. Interesting. Natalie, that's insane. I've been saying that hair has to be relevant DNA in this case because every time I go to pull cards, I have one of my hairs stuck in the deck and I have to pull it out. Oh, that could be a good sign. I really think that they might have a hair from the perp, but we haven't seen it yet. It's either hair or blood, and it is coming. I think they will be able to get more DNA. They have to keep checking. So the glove maybe wasn't a good one. Wasn't a good good pull from the stack of potential pieces of evidence. But are we talking, let me ask about this birthday. Is there some kind of a clue with regard to a birthday in this case? Oh, the tower reversed. So, Natalie, what would you say with that one? I don't know. I think that could still be telling us something. Maybe something bigger than a birthday that was happening. What's happening in the background of Nancy's birthday time period, maybe mid-January, leading up to her birthday? The Ace of Swords, the stairs again. We always get these stairs when it comes to Aquarius related things, which represents stairs. So we see stairs with the Louvre burglary, which we haven't heard much about. Kind of strange. I guess they're getting their case ready. But we also saw it with Idaho. So many pictures of the stairs. So one more clue for Nancy as we start the show tonight. And there's that female there. That female may be going down into the basement, even though it's hard to believe that there's a basement in Tucson because they say that there aren't that many. It's very rare. But there's something down below. What's the connection with Nancy and what's down below? Four of Cups reversed. Maybe making a decision about something. That's strange. Okay. So, but you've been dreaming about a pool. We're thinking that there's going to be something about a pool, but so far with the Pisces that has come out, we are seeing how Google is trying to pull more video. Natalie, it's a rebuilding of something, but can also be delayed catastrophe. Be Real, the interview with Sheriff and Jason Lum. Okay, you're talking about JLR, I think. All right. So yeah, we've got those Pisces things coming in. I really hope we don't see another fake movie, but I have a feeling we're going to see a group of them, and they're just traumatizing, especially to people who are older and live alone. They don't want to see that. I don't think they are anyway. They're probably not on those social channels, but still, it's just disgusting what people are doing. This is, again, Nancy Guthrie's predictive solar return, and we are in the middle of Leo here. And one other thing that I'm getting is, besides the hair, I'm getting a group chat clue. You may recall that, I guess it was a couple of months ago, there was some big drama with actresses and a group chat and bullying on the group chat. That's kind of in the code at the moment. At least it was maybe the past few months. Was it Hillary Duff and her little group there? And somebody was complaining. I wonder if maybe there's a clue in somebody's group chat that has to do with a family. It could be, maybe it's a family group chat where Nancy is saying something, maybe within the past few months, and she just happened to say, I saw somebody who came by and I didn't know who he was, or she. Could be something like that, but there could be a clue here. Is there a clue in maybe one of Nancy's family members' group chats? Knight of Swords. Okay. Which would be a yes. And a clarifier card for this group chat clue. Queen of Pentacles reversed. So might have something to do with money. Maybe somebody owes money or something like that. I can't imagine how that would play out, but it does seem to be like somebody is no longer in the chat. Maybe something in their life happened that was major or catastrophe. A Leo clue. Catastrophe. Cat. So this is what's coming in here. We've got, this was February. This was just this morning coming in, and now we're in the Pisces. So just like clockwork, we're hearing about gains of some sort or wanting to get something, which is that video from Google. It looks like it might be a little bit difficult because we have this T-square, but I think that because there's a trine to the planet that represents Nancy, it looks like they might get some video of Nancy. So that's right here. And we'll have to see. Will law enforcement in the next 12 hours get some kind of, I know they're trying, maybe that was just the announcement. Mercury represents announcements about photos. So it might not be right away, but okay, let's say it's in the next week that we get some photos or video back. Will there be something where we can see Nancy on these videos? Oh my. So maybe two people. So, and possibly yes. And if you're wondering what this chart is and you just joined the channel, this is actually this week's predictive chart, and it started on February 15th, which was Sunday. And what we do is we just start the beginning of the week, but we use the timestamp for the crime. So around 2 o'clock, every cusp is around 1:45 to 2:30 in the morning. And so we are moving up into Wednesday. Around Wednesday, 2 in the morning is where the fourth house cusp is. Let's go through what the fourth house is. The victim's home, potentially Piscean things. So there's going to be discussion about photos of the home and possibly the pool, maybe the sprinkler, maybe something that has to do with the water feature. It can also be addressing something that has to do with this foreign female. It looks like there are twin foreign females, or one that looks alike. Maybe they both have, it could be a lot of hair. Because Black Moon Lilith is part of this, it makes me think they have dark hair. Black Moon Lilith is kind of like Angelina Jolie in some of her roles, kind of like the fierce lady. Then we get into this time period, which is Aries. And the last week when we got into the Aries time frame, we were hearing about the turf war, which is what Aries represents. We were hearing a lot about law enforcement. Now this could be something that has to do with blood. But what I like here is that Saturn, when well aspected, and you can see that it is with the blue lines, it means to return. Something comes back. It's like a boomerang. It definitely has to do with money because of that second house where it's aimed. maybe it's the crypto money. Something is happening though in the home. And this could be the police going back in there again. The police return to the home. Are the police going to return to the home on Wednesday, tomorrow? I think they will. Yeah, Six of Pentacles. It also has to do with money too, that Six of Pentacles. Maybe they're looking for things of value that maybe aren't there anymore, but they are definitely trying to collect new things. They have a lot of collection to do, I think. I really do. We can, if we look at the crime chart, we can see this Leo here. This is going to be the hair. Anytime you get Leo in a poor aspect, it's kind of like, for forensic astrology, you're going to see that it's like you can't get that hair. This is a no, this red line. But there's a yes here too. And it does look like something gets returned somehow because of that Saturn. It's weird because it's possible that they find Nancy's hair maybe in another place. It could be Nancy's hair is in someone's vehicle. That could be coming up. I feel pretty strongly about this. This is kind of shocking. Are we seeing Nancy's, is it hair? It could be hair or blood or both. Are we seeing something of Nancy's in another location? Got the Ace of Swords again. Clarify a card about seeing her. We're going to get her DNA. We're going to get Nancy's DNA in an alternate location. Page of Pentacles. We've been seeing this page. There's maybe a young person involved here. Be Real says Sheriff stated DNA in-house is a mixture. In the interview with Jason Lum and Sheriff saw today, it is what I was trying to share earlier. Okay, thank you. Carrie said, I too had that feeling a lot more when I was younger. It got weaker when I was in my mid-20s. Tunnels in Tucson. Okay. So that makes sense when it comes to Scorpio. Haven't seen so much Scorpio. The only Scorpio that I saw, well, potentially Middle Eastern names. He's got an Arabic name. And then also they were looking in the sewer. So there are some Scorpio clues. A lot of Scorpios like this channel. I'm a moon in Scorpio. We can get down to the nitty gritty. The problem is we have such a long memory. Many Scorpios have people in their family who were investigators. This is very good. This shows DNA success. It's not perfect. You can see the red lines, but on the whole, I'd say it looks pretty good for gathering DNA. Here's the group chat here. And just a lot of people talking. 11th house is friendships. Somebody, I think I told you this, somebody got mad at me for saying there's a friend. And she's like, oh, so now there's a friend. But there could be different people involved here. It could be a friend who referred the pool man. I mean, we don't know. But we've got that Libra here. This is strange. If we were to use the 147 chart, the 11th house of the friend is in the 3rd house here. And what's also interesting is that the 7th house of the second child is Venus and also in there. So we're going to be talking, at the very least, we're going to be talking about a friendship. It's going to be a little confusing, I think. There's so many people in here. We're like, well, who is it? Because there's like, it looks like there's 10 people in there. Well, the 7th house is your second child. And this really shows that there's some kind of an upset here. It has to do possibly with maybe somebody that knows Annie. Again, I don't think the family has anything to do with this. I really don't. But it sure looks like somebody is vengeful here. And this is Annie's 7th house. She's the 7th house. The 5th house is the first child. The 9th house is Savannah. We can look at Pisces. Pisces is Savannah and Neptune. And we can also look at Uranus as well. We can see that because Savannah is Neptune and Annie is Uranus, you can see that they're working together, that there isn't any stress. but this looks like people who are in front of Annie somehow. We might be talking about somebody that Annie spoke to, maybe not Nancy directly. We also have to talk about that elder abuse card, though, which was put in the door, and I'm gonna talk to you about that in a second. But let's ask about possibly a person that Annie interacted with. Maybe she's not thinking that that's the case. Maybe she forgets. Maybe she remembers. I don't know. But is there a person that interacted with Annie that could be part of this ring? We also have to talk about the ring. Queen of Pentacles again. I'm not going to take that as a no. I'm going to say that's somebody with some money problems. Clarifier card on that. We keep getting that Queen of Pentacles reversed. So clarifier card on the person that could know Annie. And 10 of Swords reversed. So maybe someone who's not able to move on from something. I want to talk about Star Wars clues, which is Aquarius. And then maybe the chat. Oh, divorce, which is that Aquarius. I think there's somebody in the mix here. We're going to be hearing somebody is going through a divorce or a divorced person. Tell us about this divorced person, and that's going to segue into my Star Wars clues. Tell us about this divorced person that is in the mix here. And it's like maybe somebody who doesn't care what happens to them. What's going on with this breakup? Four of Pentacles, so much about money. So maybe something where someone isn't getting the money that they feel they deserve. Maybe it's in a divorce somehow. Somehow this is playing out in the background, maybe. Let's talk about elder abuse. It is reported that a neighbor called and they were worried about, apparently, Nancy Guthrie. There was a card that was left the next day after her disappearance on the door. So a neighbor was concerned. I wonder if she had heard her scream. Maybe there was something that happened even before then, but is there any kind of elder abuse that was going on? Four of Wands reversed. Clarify a card on that. Seems like no. Page of Pentacles again. Young person in the mix somehow. Okay. All right, so Star Wars. We've obviously got space. We've got, going very fast into space. Is it hyperdrive? We have so many clues with Aquarius and Star Wars. And what happened during Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, the actor for Luke Skywalker, he got into a motorcycle accident and his face changed. So he didn't look like he did in the beginning, which was kind of like shocking. We were all shocked at how he looked. Mark Hamill. So that was a lot of Aquarius going on there. And also regarding divorce and splitting, Harrison Ford, I believe, got a divorce right after one of these movies. Just so much as far as speed, but also in the background of the actors' lives. Yes, be real. I'm going to agree with you there. Very strange to call APS under the circumstances. Neighbor allegedly called Adult Protective Services since she went missing. Yeah, so there's bullying that is coming in here. Whenever you see the tomatoes, these are bullies. Yeah, maybe workers or friends of Annie's. Always play cool with Scorpios is best. Natalie, for tomorrow's chart, do you see anyone cooperating or confession of sorts? It's a good question. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. I researched, and I don't think that girl is related to the Nancy Guthrie in this case. There are many in Arizona. Okay. Maybe niece knew Nancy had money in the house. It's possible. Jupiter, Mars, all in Scorpio. It's difficult because when you have so much Scorpio, you are tested so much in your life of haves and have-nots. People are jealous of you, and then you don't have anything, and then you're jealous of them. And it goes back and forth, or you're tempted to be jealous. Suddenly you don't have anything. Things are taken away from you. And then suddenly you see those people with those things that were taken from you. And it's just a back and forth type of thing. And it's also very intense feelings. Natalie, let's talk about confessing or cooperating tomorrow. And that's going to be in the weekly chart. This is going to be this week's chart. And we were talking about the DNA all today, which shows, take this off, shows this area right here. That's all DNA. And now we're in the Pisces. So we're going to talk about the pool. We're going to talk about, oh God, it could be anything. It could be poison. It could be gas. It could be raining. It was raining just a little while ago. It's weather. Mercury in Pisces. Yuck. It might rain tonight in Tucson, especially with the opposing, with all the red lines. It's like Mercury is unhappy, and we don't want Mercury to be unhappy. There's some really nasty talk here. And why do I know that? It's because of Black Moon Lilith. If you get that in a square, and it's going into these three people here, whoever they are. These are people at night. This is witnesses at night. This is being able to see something at night. But it's also people who are saying something or doing something that is quite nefarious. It's happening tonight, it would seem. Tuesday, February, and then this is Wednesday around 2. We're going to see a lot more police activity because Neptune is activated and it's in Aries now. Lots of battling and winning and one loss. So there's a loss here. It could have something to do with a publication. Somebody's an author. They're trying to find somebody in a church or some kind of Sagittarius place and they can't. Maybe paying the Bitcoin. And that might be coming in there. As far as a confession, the confessions are usually Mercury. Something pretty big is coming in. And why do I know that it's pretty big? We've got Jupiter, and Jupiter means not only does it represent Nancy, because at this point, the chart has moved from Scorpio to Sag. The original crime chart, she was Pluto, but now she's Jupiter. I wonder if somebody overhears her. There's eavesdropping in this case. Somebody's listening to someone. You're already seeing it with JLR. He's listening to what the police are saying. He's getting up real close to what they're saying, in Nancy Guthrie's yard. Mercury is also whispering. It's very quiet. I think somebody might hear her. There's somebody hearing something, and it's at night. It's also a witness too, a local witness. There's something going down. It would seem there's a lot of pushback for it to not happen because of that T-square. This person here, wow. Somebody's getting very, very, very famous. I've said that before. It's possible it could be this Black Moon Lilith person. Sometimes when you've got Aries, this could be Native American, somebody who it's a country person, and it's red. The person's red. It's almost like, I wonder if they're doing something like an army exercise or whatever, where they're just all going in and tonight's the night. And that could be, I think, in the next maybe 48 hours. Trump needs good news because we've got that red line here to Trump. This is Trump in here. It just seems like it's not happening for him. Yes, there could be an announcement that somebody overheard or saw. Maybe there was a Nancy sighting. I think that's going to be the case maybe in the next 48 hours. Tomorrow, this is the morning. That's Pisces still. Then we get into Aries. That's when Mars is going to activate. And this is a fail. Because of the quincunx to Jupiter. They're really trying to get to her and they can't. They're trying to help, but they can't. Somebody else is. I don't know who it is. Could be somebody undercover. Who is helping Nancy within the next 2 days? It looks like Wednesday, Thursday. Who is trying to help Nancy Guthrie? Maybe a younger girl. Maybe somebody sees something. See something, say something. It's the Fool. By the water. Oh, we got a water clue. By the river. A woman sees something weird happening by the river. Clarifier card. 2 of Wands. So Might be waiting though, might not be sure. Could be communications. Maybe hearing something. Maybe hearing two people talk softly. Pisces is soft. It's at night you whisper. Aries is talking very loudly. It looks like a fight. That's all I'm saying. It looks like things are being pulled from the police, and they're not working together 100%, but there is somebody who's kind of bridging, and I think they'll still be able to be successful. Well, we've got birthdays, so we need to really think about the birthday clue, which is Leo. So much Leo. We've got a Kayla. We've got a Circle K. We've got Cash, who's the director of the FBI. We also have Northwest. I was looking at this. There's a Kingstown. I think it's past Phoenix, though. That's kind of long distance. But what do you think about Nancy being in Mexico? I say it's a little far-fetched. People are jealous of something they think versus what really is true, especially with the Scorpios. If they're not being given proof of life, then forget it. You're not sending any money, and it's possible that they're not getting that. They're not getting what they have asked for. This is a scammer that's coming in. So we've got some neighbor clues going on. Yeah, there were 2 kids arrested a week ago for cyber types of crimes and assaults in Arizona. I saw that. And they had people ordering them around, like a main guy that was orchestrating it all. It was kind of crazy. It was almost like they were hypnotized or something. You don't think the ransom seekers are real? They're fakes. I think that's what the problem is. Everybody behind the scenes feel the same way. It's just, there's something off there. Let's look at, I want to look at the crime chart. I want to see what the perp's house looks like. I'm going to show you how to do that. Here's the crime chart. 7th house, perpetrator. So what are we going to do to find out what the perpetrator's house looks like? We're going to go 4 houses. 4th house from the 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got Virgo. Virgo is a smaller house. It's ruled by Mercury. So let's look and see where Mercury is, because that's going to give us the second clue. And Mercury is down here. And it sure looks like it's local, and it's close to Nancy's house. Look how close that is. With Mercury, and it is conjunct Venus, it's a female's house. Maybe a female owns it. And also with the South Node in there. Let's see. We've got 10 degrees. It's possible there's somebody in there in the house that's very sad. There's some kind of despair in the home. And sometimes when people commit these crimes, they're desperate. So it does seem a little bit like that. Plus the fact we've got Uranus here right on the cusp, so strong. And it shows that this person is having to make a change and doesn't want to. It's a complete shock. Let's see. This Gemini too is a big clue as well. Sometimes the chart gives us a point or just throws in something like part of fortune, like here's an extra one, and it's in Gemini. So this is the twins. These are a group of people who are devilish, the 27th degree, which is 1 degree from Algol. And there could be addiction issues possible. The other thing is that with all of this inside the 7th house of the perp, and there's a trine to the planet that rules Nancy, it seems like they know each other. It seems like one of them knows of someone else in here. They're coming back. There's Neptune. There's the pool. Point for the pool guy. He didn't look like a pool guy. He was in shape. So he does something that has to do with maybe staying in shape. But Neptune in Aries. Let's think about this for a second. Aries is very fast. And what happened when Neptune, you're gonna roll your eyes at me on this one, but I just couldn't help it. When Neptune ingressed into Aries, what were we seeing on Instagram? We were seeing all of these people posting how they were going to change. They were about to change. And then suddenly all the Brad Pitt from the Fight Club was, there's a reel of the Fight Club, and it's Brad Pitt when he was younger and he was playing that role. But it's really a real fast reel, and it's fight. So I think there's like a clue about a fight of some sort. I'm not sure. It's somebody fighting. Who's fighting in this case, in this crime chart? Somebody wearing red. Aries is red. Could be a redhead. What is this fight about in Nancy Guthrie's crime chart? It's in the 5th house of family. What's the fight about? How many times have I been getting this? Queen of Pentacles. This is somebody who is behind on this. Is a financial thing, and they're desperate. So this is when I think of that, though, I mean, there is a revenge element to it, but it just makes me think that there is hope for Nancy. There is. Let's see here. Oh, a wrist tattoo. Hi, Gigi. I'm hopeful about it. I think somebody can find her and get her. Thank you, Peachy Keen. Okay. And all right, neck tattoos. Yeah, could be neck tattoos. Chiron usually is the neck tattoo. So, okay. The Venus really gives some kind of a profile here with the 7th house Lord, because this is the devil and Venus at 18 degrees. This is somebody who is probably going to say the F word a lot. That's why I try not to, because it's kind of like it's activating 18 degrees and we don't want that. So this lady, she speaks in a shocking way. So that's going to also be another clue. Was there anybody that Nancy encountered where she might have been younger? She said the F word a lot. And also, I teach this in my my class, my forensic astrology class. And speaking of which, if you are interested in signing up for classes, that's my information, astrologywithval.as.me, or for a personal reading. And when I teach Venus and Mercury, it's somebody who might look younger than they actually are. It could be somebody who speaks. The other thing that I was thinking about too was this is a soprano. This is someone who sings, Venus, very high octave. So I did a search today and on like sopranos or somebody who might be a famous singer in that area. And I didn't really get anything. I think I might have gotten one name, famous soprano singer, not the mob soprano, because they're all from New Jersey and New York, in Tucson. This is definitely a clue. Oh, wow. Linda Ronstadt is from Tucson. Oh my God. All right. So we've got quite a few sopranos in here. And by the way, remember when I was talking about how Aquarius, and the reason I know this is something that irritates me, but I've got a lot of this in my my chart, a lot of Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius. And I worked for engineering companies like my whole life. So whenever I see these Aquarius, I'm like, oh my God, these are a bunch of engineers. So I think of the Army Corps of Engineers and as a location, maybe not necessarily that there's an engineer involved, but then I looked at the address for the Army Corps and they're on Church Street, which is kind of crazy because we've been talking about the church. Doesn't always mean a church, could mean Church Street. And maybe there's some kind of thing where they could either be helping or there could be maybe some kind of community effort where maybe there's some kind of interchange or exchange with a person on a board or that kind of thing. I don't think so. I think she liked playing her cards and reading her books. I don't think she was out there being an activist or anything. But yeah, so we've got that Aries there, and we've got all of these quote unquote engineers. We've got this Venus woman who talks like a truck driver. This could also be a pilot. So we might be talking about somebody who she has a pilot's license. Maybe she doesn't, or maybe she was a pilot. And then, oh, the other thing too, this is a really big one. When you see in your solar return chart that you've got something that has a poor aspect to Scorpio, this is somebody who's pretty jealous or feels betrayed, feels vengeful. And this is right at the victim. This is Nancy right here. So let's see. Yeah. A lot of talking, a lot of emails. There's going to be evidence, and we can see this already with Epstein and all the flood of emails that are coming out and all of the evidence. That's all anybody talks about is evidence and emails and more evidence. And so this kind of is that same energy there. And I think that law enforcement has quite a task on their hands because they're going to have to sift through these emails. And it's getting to be Mercury retrograde, so they better do it soon. But at the same time, this is the third house is a car. This is being whisked away in a car. The third house, you're going to see in these crimes when there's all of this stuff. What was that one with the college girl? And she was waiting for her boyfriend and she got in the wrong car. Her crime chart had a lot of third house. Samantha Josephson, a Leo. Not saying that this happened to Nancy, but I'm just saying that there's going to be a lot of car evidence. So forget about the house. Don't forget about the house, but you're going to be seeing car after car after car with potential evidence. Maybe there's more than one. And that was the University of South Carolina student. You're going to be seeing a female driver. You're going to be seeing maybe even Ubers. It doesn't match up because of this guy. It's like, how is this guy going to be connected to an Uber driver, a female Uber driver? But it's possible because Aquarius is the car online and third house is things for hire. Are we talking about a female Uber driver? Oh, God. We got this earlier. High priestess. Maybe a clue. Maybe a clue that we're talking about. Kind of neat. Kind of nuts. There it is. And let's see what you guys are saying. Yeah, that's right. Annie's car was impounded. I don't think Annie would use her car. Obviously, Annie's mother is going to have DNA in her car because they probably travel a lot together. I was thinking about the car salesman clue. Could it be a rental car employee or somebody who works at a place like that? Well, yeah, that's what you're saying. A rental car employee. Yes. And It's getting late. My card said she's in Knight of Wand and Page of Cup energy reverse. That's crazy. That's what I've been getting too. Oh, that's weird. Hopeful Valentine. We were talking about Sopranos and you got the song Ave Maria. Maria. Pink Butterfly, I think band members. Yeah, red is good luck. I should have worn red today, darn it. We need as much luck as we can get. Yeah, security, rent a cop. This is super, super, super close. But the other thing is, I always like to look at Black Moon Lilith. It's such a big clue. And we've got some things to put this with. We've got this nefarious person who has trouble with their leg, which is Sag. And this person comes at night, which is Pisces. But this person is in despair because of this square here to the south node. This is someone who's very, very sad about something. And it's Virgo, so it could be that worker there. It could be a worker. That's way up at the top. It's like a sad worker. Let me see here. Yeah, I got this today. The she on the sheriff's truck. We were talking about the briefcase earlier today in the other show. And we're talking about Kyle Richards too today. Yeah, crazy how Mercury represents to smell. And there is signal. This is all signals here. They're trying to work with the signals. Some signals are not going to work. Some signals are going to work. And that's another clue that's coming up. What's coming up is, oh, wait a minute. Oh, shoot. You can't see this. I'm on the wrong slide. There's the sniffers. Mercury is to sniff. And there's Aquarius, which is the signal sniffer. And so you could see some red lines where it's like, nice try. But there's also, I think, this is Nancy here. Nancy's giving off the signal. I think they're going to, wow. That seems hard to believe they're going to find her through her pacemaker signal. But there is, look at the blue here, and that's going to that Saturn and Neptune and Aries. Are we going to find Nancy through her pacemaker? It seems like a probable no. But this chart says there's a possibility. There's a lot of people who don't want to do it. You could see that opposition with Moon in Leo. They're like, please don't do that. The answer is yes, you should do that. And is this going to work with is there going to be a signal coming from Nancy? 9 of Swords reversed. So I don't know why I'm getting that there will be. But we've had helicopters, we've had break-ins, we've had drones. I wonder if we're still getting weather. This is a lot of weather. There might actually be, because of all of the Aquarius here, this is a hurricane. This is, they're not going to have hurricanes now, but this is a windstorm. I wonder if we're going to see a windstorm, and they're going to call it a monster windstorm. Why? Because there's an opposition to the moon in Leo for this chart. So there's a possibility that people are going to have to take cover with all of this wind. The wind really does play a part in this, but also the guns as well. These are online guns. These are, that might be what the police are finding out. They're getting some kind of good lead from the gun stores. Yeah, flying over the area. I'm not sure, just reporting. Do any Ubers record rides? Well, some of them do. The heart, exactly. And yeah, I'm sure that's got to be one of the first ones they thought of. So it also, I think to myself that they're not letting on, they don't, these perps, they are looking, they are waiting for more news. And I think the media, I'm sorry, I think the police, they are holding things back just to give them a little bit of a jump start here. Yeah, he did look like he had walking problems. Kitty says sources in LA stating there was Nancy's medication crunched into carpet on passenger side of Range Rover. It seems made up to me, but it's possible. You would think that we'd start seeing arrests right now. Susan, you'd like to know if the clergy or church is involved. I think I did this one the other night, but is there anybody involved with a church that is particularly, makes me think of the Elizabeth Smart case, but a whole different type of situation. Is this a church or somebody who maybe is religious? It's kind of it's bad religion. Is this somebody who's part of a church? We might be seeing that. 10 of Pentacles. Clarifier card. I got the High Priestess again. So we're really talking about somebody who's got red hair. Maybe a spiritual person. Could it be somebody that maybe they went to a psychic or something? We did get that clue on Oracle Road. High Priestess is a spiritual person. So maybe it's a spiritual person who is like a gypsy. 9 of Swords is like a nightmare. You've pulled it a few times. Yeah. I don't think we know that, Barbie, if Nancy had a caregiver. And Ubers, yes, if done on app records, pick up and drop off, time and cost. So that'd be a good lead, I think. Okay. Oh gosh. So I think that's all I have tonight, but it looks like we're going to be getting some more stuff tomorrow. And I should be on in the afternoon. I'll be on twice tomorrow. So I hope you can join me. Thanks so much for tuning in, and get some rest. Looks like it's going to be a big day tomorrow. Talk to you soon.